By the age of 60, most people can no longer do 3 basic movements that doctors say predict whether you'll stay independent or need help for the rest of your life. And here's what makes this so alarming. These aren't complicated exercises. They don't require a gym, equipment, or a trainer. They're movements you used to do every single day without thinking. Getting out of a chair, keeping your balance, walking with confidence. But right now, as you're listening to this, your body may already be failing these tests, and you don't even know it. A landmark study following over 5,000 adults over 65 for nearly a decade found that those with the weakest muscles had double the risk of dying compared to the strongest group. Not from disease, not from genetics, from losing the basic strength their body needed to function. And if you think this doesn't apply to you, consider this. After 60, your body loses up to 3% of its muscle mass every single year. By 80, some people have lost nearly half the muscle they had in their prime. That's not just a number. That's the difference between walking your grandchildren to the park and needing someone to help you out of bed. But here's what most people never hear. This is one of the most reversible conditions in medicine. These 3 movements can tell you exactly where you stand right now. And if you're losing ground, there are simple steps you can start today to rebuild what's disappearing. Before we begin, drop your age and where you're watching from in the comments. I read every single one. And stay with me through all 3 tests, because the third one, the one most people avoid entirely, may be the strongest predictor of whether you'll still be living on your own in 10 years. The first test reveals whether your legs can still support you. And if you fail it, research shows you're 3 times more likely to need assisted living within 5 years. Here's the test. Sit in a chair with your arms crossed over your chest. Now try to stand up and sit back down 5 times without using your hands. Not fast, not sloppy, controlled. If you did all 5 without hesitation, your legs are in better shape than most people your age. That's a genuine sign your body is holding up where it matters most. But if you couldn't do it, or if your legs were shaking by the 3rd rep, your quadriceps are already weaker than they should be. And this is the muscle that decides everything. Your quadriceps are the large muscles at the front of your thighs. They're your chair muscle, your stair muscle, the muscle that determines whether you get off the toilet on your own or need someone to help you. And after 60, this is one of the first muscles your body starts to quietly shut down. This is often mistaken for just aging, but it's not. It's a specific muscle group failing, and it's measurable. Here's the part most people miss. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy followed over 1,200 adults aged 65 and older, and found that those who couldn't complete this chair stand test were 47% more likely to experience falls, hospitalizations, and loss of independent living within just 3 years. And it wasn't age that predicted the decline. It was this single muscle group. But this is where things get interesting. Your quadriceps respond to training faster than almost any other muscle in the body, even after years of inactivity. That's not motivation talk. That's what the research shows. And this effect compounds the older you get, meaning the sooner you start, the faster you rebuild. So here's what to do. Start with simple sit-to-stands from your chair. Lower yourself slowly for 3 seconds. Pause at the bottom. Then push through your heels to stand. No momentum, no hands. 10 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a day. Start with whatever number you can manage. Even 3 is enough. Work up to 10 over time. Consistency matters more than intensity. That's all you need. No gym, no equipment, just a chair you already have. You've already started the reset. But don't stop here, because the next test reveals something most people completely overlook. The hidden muscle that controls whether you fall or stay on your feet. It's the muscle doctors call your anti-fall muscle. And most people over 60 are already failing this test without knowing it. This next test looks almost too easy, but that's exactly why most people miss what it reveals. Stand near a wall or kitchen counter. Place one hand on it for balance. Now lift one heel off the ground and try to do 10 controlled calf raises on that single leg. Rise up slowly. Hold for 1 second at the top. Lower slowly, 10 times, one leg. If you did all 10 with control, your calves are doing their job. You're ahead of most people your age, and your body's balance system is still firing the way it should. But if you couldn't finish, or if your ankle was wobbling after 3 or 4, this muscle is already fading. And here's why that matters more than you think. Your calf muscles are your anti-fall muscles. They're the muscles that catch you when you stumble. Every time you trip on a curb, step onto uneven ground, or lose your footing on a wet surface, it's your calves that fire first to keep you upright. When they weaken, your walking speed slows. Your steps get shorter. You start shuffling instead of striding. And that cautious shuffle you've seen in elderly people, that's not just aging. That's calf muscle loss. And this is where it gets important. Walking speed is considered one of the strongest predictors of overall health and longevity in older adults. Doctors actually call it the sixth vital sign. That's how critical it is. A 2023 study from the National Institute on Aging found that calf strength was the single best predictor of whether someone over 60 would maintain independence in the next decade. Participants with strong calves were 71% less likely to require assisted living. This isn't about vanity. This is about whether you walk confidently into a grocery store at 80 or need someone holding your arm. The good news is correcting this is simple. Hold your kitchen counter with both hands. Rise slowly onto your toes as high as possible. Hold for 2 seconds. Then lower slowly. Take a full 3 seconds to come back down. That slow lowering phase is where the real strength building happens. Start with 10 repetitions on both feet. As you get stronger, progress to 1 foot at a time. No gym, no equipment. Just your kitchen counter and 60 seconds of your day. Consistency matters more than duration. Even a short daily practice can rebuild this muscle quickly. But here's where most people go wrong. They stop at legs. They think strength and balance are enough to stay independent. But the third test reveals something that goes deeper than any single muscle. It tests whether your entire system, your brain, your nerves, your coordination, can still keep you safe. And this is the test that researchers say is the single strongest predictor of whether you'll still be living on your own in 10 years. Try this right now. Stand near a wall for safety. Lift 1 foot just an inch off the ground. Now hold that position for 10 seconds without grabbing onto anything. If you held it steady without excessive wobbling, your balance system is intact. That means your brain, your inner ear, your core muscles, and the tiny stabilizers around your hips and ankles are all still communicating the way they should. That's a sign your body is aging far slower than most. But if you couldn't hold it, if you had to grab the wall or put your foot down before 10 seconds, something critical is breaking down. And it's not just one muscle, it's the entire system that keeps you upright. This is one of those things that doesn't feel important until you understand what it predicts. A landmark study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed over 1,500 adults ages 70 and older for 10 years. Those who could not stand on one leg for 10 seconds had a significantly higher risk of death from any cause during the study period. But even more alarming, the inability to hold this position was associated with a tripled risk of experiencing a serious fall. And falls after 60 are not minor inconveniences. If you fall and break your hip after 70, there is a 20 to 30% chance you will die within a year. That statistic is terrifying. But it's also why this test matters so much, because the people who can still hold this position are the ones who don't fall in the first place. When you stand on one leg, your body makes thousands of micro adjustments per minute to keep you balanced. Your brain has to coordinate information from your eyes, your inner ear, and sensors in your feet and ankles all at the same time. This is why it's not just a leg test, it's a full nervous system test. And after 60, these systems start declining silently, unless you challenge them. This is where you actively reverse the problem. Stand next to your kitchen counter. Lift 1 foot just an inch off the ground. Focus your eyes on a fixed point about 10 feet ahead of you. Breathe normally. Hold for as long as you can. Switch legs and repeat. Do this 3 times a day, once in the morning, once while waiting for your coffee, once before bed. Start with whatever you can manage. Even 5 seconds is a beginning. Work up to 30 seconds on each leg over time. As you get stronger, try turning your head slowly left and right while balancing. This challenges your vestibular system, the inner ear mechanism that naturally declines with age. Eventually, try closing your eyes for a few seconds during the hold. This removes visual input and forces your other balance systems to work harder. A study from Japan's Longevity Research Institute found that adults over 60 who practice single-leg balance training consistently improved neuromuscular coordination by over 40% and showed brain aging markers equivalent to people 10 to 15 years younger. You don't need complicated routines. You need consistency. And this one simple test, practiced daily, may do more for your independence than any other movement you can do. Now step back for a moment and imagine an older version of yourself. A slower walk, rounded shoulders, a hand gripping the rail, the hesitation before stepping off a curb. You might call that getting old. But that's not aging, that's frailty. And although aging is inevitable, frailty is not. These three tests, the chair stand, the calf raise, the single leg balance, are not random exercises. They're the three pillars that determine whether you stay independent or start needing help. Lose your quad strength and you can't get out of a chair. Lose your calf strength and you start shuffling. Lose your balance and one fall can change everything. But here's what the research makes clear, and this is the part that changes everything. Every single one of these abilities is reversible. Your muscles respond to training at any age. Even in your 80s and 90s, the science shows that targeted movement rebuilds what inactivity takes away. You don't need a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. You need a chair, a counter, and 10 minutes a day. If you passed all three tests, protect what you have. Keep challenging these muscles before they start to slip. If you failed one or more, start fixing them today. Not tomorrow, today. Because independence isn't lost overnight. It's lost one movement at a time. And it's rebuilt the same way. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these three tests was the hardest for you? Could you do all three? Or was there one that surprised you? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And if you want to take the next step and start building real strength at home, watch this video right here. It's our complete guide to 5 wall exercises that outperform walking after 60. And it's the perfect companion to what you just learned today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.